Hi, I'm going to absolutely just raw dog this video. This is the first time I am just doing a solo video on my YouTube channel, and I wanted to create a bit of a story and just explain a little bit more about me. So I started in the sort of fitness industry around about 3 or 4 years ago, kind of wanted to invest a bit more into my own health, and I realized that I had spent a lot of time in my fitness and used to play football a lot and thought that was kind of it for me. I never really invested much time into the gym. In 2016, sort of 2017, I had a severe illness, which unfortunately meant that I ended up losing a kidney. And during that time, I just started my career working as a teacher, as a PE teacher. And within maybe 2 or 3 months into that career, I unfortunately got kidney stones, which then led to something else, more infections, more operations, and all those kind of things. And it was just very, very difficult to kind of get back into it. Fortunately, it really had a big impact on my mental health. And I got to a stage in life where, if I'm being really honest, I just didn't want to be here anymore. And I was ready to call it quits, put it that way. I never really thought about what I'd do and how I would finish with life, but I definitely just didn't want to be here anymore. I couldn't see a way out. I couldn't see getting through this illness and getting my life back. Roll on to 2017, and I had my kidney removed, and it completely changed my perspective on life. And I started to take my health and fitness way more seriously than I ever had done before. And for me, it was kind of like, right, I've got one life, I've got one kidney, I've got so much to look forward to. And it just spurred me on. And I actually somehow managed to find my way back into teaching. It wasn't an easy way to get back into work. And I remember having such crazy anxiety going back into work for the first time in my life. And it was very difficult for me to get back into the working world. And my first job kind of back into the work was working in a bookmaker's, and that was a brilliant job because it got me back talking to people, got me socializing, wasn't crazily impactful in terms of physical things. So it got me working again, and that was great. And then from there, I went into working with, looked after children with in care who had learning difficulties, and then that led me to working into education again as a teacher in special needs. And I've done that for the past 6 or 7 years, or probably 8 years really. And then always had this drive and passion to get into fitness. Joined this gym that had opened up close by. Seemed like a nice gym. I thought using my money to get into a nice gym that's around the corner. And I came across a personal trainer and actually did a free session with him. And he basically taught me a few things that I'd never realised that I had any consistency with my training in the past. Would just kind of go in the gym and just do a few things here and there and kind of get a little feel for it. If this was quiet, I'd go on this. If this machine looked good or whatever. Never really trained properly, to be honest. And then lockdown hit. And during lockdown and the COVID period, I was placed on the shielding list by the government due to my asthma at the time. And I was furloughed from work and I had a lot of time at home to kill, and started doing work with my personal trainer with what I could at home with the sort of weights and stuff I had. And I didn't really think much of it. It just kept me in routine, kept me going, that kind of thing. And actually I had a goal of like, let's try and do pull-ups. I can never do a pull-up, and in my family, my dad can't do a pull-up, my uncle struggled to do pull-ups and stuff. And so I thought, well, okay, we're going to set this goal, and I managed to achieve 10. They weren't the best form. It was working with around in my garage whatever I could, you know, and then that kind of drove me on. And I decided then that I was like, right, I really got a thing for this fitness thing. I always have done. I started helping people, family members during COVID and that kind of thing, giving workout routines. And I used to do this thing in the garden like every week, and my family garden, my sister would come back from Manchester and we'd do like family circuits all together, and it was such amazing just vibe and fun. And we just had a laugh with it, but we put some real good effort into it. And I used to like spend like an hour planning the workout, what should go where, why should it go there. I just had a real passion for it, and I just said, right, I'm going to do my qualifications. And I did my qualifications, and I thought, right, that's it for me. This is where I want to go towards. But I was due to sort of go back into work. Went back to school and stuff, but was still doing my qualifications. And I realised that like life is a bit too short to not give something a go. unfortunately, in the same time, in the meantime, my mum was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Now, it was a big shock to all of the family, and it really hit us. You know, mum was like someone who was always working on her health, always the one just active, doing things non-stop. And it kind of like took a big toll on all of us. And it made me think and made me realise that life is too short and your health does come first massively. It was probably one of the hardest years and continues to be, but especially that year in 2021, because my dad then also had a triple heart bypass, and having to kind of look after both parents, going through lots of treatment, big operations, that kind of thing, in you know what would have been my mid-20s at the time, was hard. It was very hard, and it made me think that okay, life is too short to kind of not pursue what you want to do. So I started this career into sort of personal training in the fitness world, whilst working still as a teacher. And don't get me wrong, I still loved my teaching job, but definitely preferred and started leaning towards the personal training side of the career. So I would do kind of my teaching work in the day, and then in the evenings I would have my evening clients, and it'd end up being like a stupidly long day of 12, 13 hours. But I made it work, and I made it work for me because I wanted it to work. And I realised that with teaching, I absolutely love teaching, especially from a PE background that I had. I loved working with the kids, I loved getting them moving, but there was a lot of sides of education that, in the education industry, especially in the UK, that I didn't really agree with, to be honest. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the young people spend a lot of time sat down, and I would like to get them moving a little bit more, a bit more active, and you could see the benefit of that from then their academic side of things. So then I decided to leave the education world in the back end of 2023 and go kind of full all in on my personal training career and coaching career. And this is where I am at currently. So I've spent the past 8 months doing personal training full time, and I absolutely love it. I've helped so many clients. I've realised what I can give and use my teaching knowledge and experience and background to help other people. I have also started recently doing some online coaching and putting things out there to help others. And I've recently started, I'm halfway through a nutrition course to enhance my knowledge even further. And I am literally only just getting started in this career, but I can't wait for it to see where it goes, to improve so much more, and literally just keep helping people as I go. I'm going to make a little pact to myself that I will upload once a week to this channel. I'm genuinely not bothered if it grows anywhere or gains any traction. It's more of a case of me keeping accountable to putting out content, getting a bit more confidence on camera, and just showing up and turning up. I have a real good idea that my health and fitness and coaching, I want it to revolve around getting people ready for life. You know, life throws loads of curveballs, as it did to me, not only with my own illness, not only then with my parents' illnesses, you know, everything else of the stresses of life. Just being able to say, yeah, cool, I can commit. And what fitness and health has done for me has been massive for my mental health. Like when I felt real down and I've had real tough times, whether it's work, whether it's with family, whether it's with my parents' illnesses going on, dealing with those emotions, I could channel that into my fitness. I could go and find my own gym, my own environment, get my head down, focus on something that's challenging, that pushes me, makes me feel so much better after it. And I really want to take that going forward. I feel like we all are in this day and age, in this industry, that we are looking at people who have unreal transformations and before and after photos, and maybe they've had a reason to get in shape because they wanted to go on holiday or they had a wedding or whatever. I think they're all great reasons for somebody to get started, but sometimes I think it sets people up to unfortunately fail because they feel like they need to live up to a certain expectation where they can't actually get to that stage. And what they're looking at is the likes, the comments, the dopamine from the comments that they get on social media, from people saying how good they look, that kind of thing. And actually deeper down, what they're really doing it for they need to find that. They need to look at it and go, well, I'm doing this for maybe my children so that they don't become sedentary, they don't become obese, they want to be active and fit. And also, if you've got young kids, how are you going to stay active and healthy to sort of keep up with their activities, you know, play with them, be a kid with them, you know, have that element of play. So this is where I look at it, and I think, yeah, everyone can start from a journey of wanting to get into some shape. Maybe they're a little bit overweight right now. Maybe you want to drop up a few pounds. You want to feel better in your clothes. Cool. It might start with that, but then you might go, cool, I want the next thing I want to do. I want to run a park run for the first time. I want to do a 10K for the first time. I want to run a half marathon. I want to do a hike. I want to raise money for charity doing this challenge. I want to do a high rocks, which is huge at the moment. You might just want to get much stronger in the gym and lift a few more weights. But I think the most important part is enjoyment and just making it a part of your life, like literally keeping something that you keep going. Our society these days is becoming more and more sedentary. Everything's becoming so much more easy to consume, to see. From a point of view of we're always on our screens, you know, this video is on a screen, we're always watching something on our phones or TV, we're sat on our arse all the time. So literally, let's put something in action, let's start moving, let's get going. All right, guys, hope that some people have watched this and it's resonated with you in some way. Keep your eyes peeled on this channel because more is to come.